God bless you. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that whosoever believes in him will not perish, but have eternal life." Think about what that means. Many times in life, we may have, maybe all, experienced a time in our lives where we feel discouraged. We even ask ourselves, are we loved? Am I loved? It's a big question. Am I loved? With so much that has happened in life, for some, you may have lost your parents or one of your parents. For others, you may have gone through a divorce. For others, you may have gone through a rough childhood. And these are the things that sometimes make you question and ask, am I loved? Right? Am I loved? You know, when I look at John 3:16, it kind of reminds me of the kind of love that God has for me, the kind of love that God has for you. When you ask yourself that question, think about the sacrifice that He made. Sending His only Son, His one and only Son, right, to die on a cross for you. That that's love. And it's not just any kind of love. It's the kind of love that none of us here on earth can humanly possible experience. It's impossible to experience that. But it is that kind of love that God has for you. And you also have to understand that Romans 8:28 says that all things, for those who love God, all things work together for the good, which means that even the worst of things that could happen in life is still working together for the good. We may not understand it at the moment. It's just like those who can cook. If you can cook, especially if you know how to make a soup, you see all the ingredients, right? You have the meats and the vegetables, whatever other ingredients you make. At glance, it looks raw, it looks uncooked, and possibly not even desirable when you have it spread out on the counter. But as soon as you hit it all in one pot and it begins to cook and stir and all the ingredients and the taste begins to blend together, then you start understanding more or less what's gonna happen, what's the end result of that recipe that you just made. And that's how your life is. When God looks at you, He takes all these pieces, your past, your situations, your trials, your depression, your sadness, right? And He puts it together. And even though you couldn't understand it at the moment, right? When you look back at everything God has brought you through, it all makes sense. So God allows things in our lives to happen. He doesn't cause them, but He allows them for us to understand that number one, we can't live without Him. He is our ultimate. He's the ultimate source of our life. So we must depend on Him, and He does love you. Believe me, He does love you. He would be willing and go as far as sending His only begotten Son to rescue you, to rescue me, to rescue those you love. All we have to do is choose. What are you choosing today? Are you choosing to accept that love or reject it? Remember, if you're watching this, chances are you feel rejected. Chances are you feel like no one has loved you. Well, today's your chance to feel approved. Today's your chance to feel like, hey, someone does love me, and that is God. God bless you.